Welcome one, welcome all, welcome to this live broadcast, broadcasting live across YouTube, Eurovision 365 and the Facebook group Eurovision 365 Debate. Welcome, what a day it is. It's the grand final. It's finally here, the grand final of Eurovision 2023. So just before the grand final starts at 8 p.m, I thought I might start the proceedings and chat amongst you and chat about my thoughts on the national finals. Hello to Dublin from Northern Ireland, from County Tyrone, just up the road a bit. It's great to have you here, Lisa. Thanks for being here, and welcome to you wherever you're watching this from, I should say. Let me know where you're watching this from and your thoughts and feelings about tonight's Eurovision final. And I'm rubbing my hands in glee because it's been an amazing week. We were over at Liverpool for the two semi-finals, which just was fantastic. And being able to be in the arena for the live semi-finals was as Karia would say, it was crazy, it was party, and it certainly was both those things. That was topped off by going to Euroclub and then back home to yesterday morning, where we were able to watch the jury final last night. I'll talk a bit about that in a moment or two. And then we have obviously watched again this afternoon. Actually, it's just finished literally before I went on air, this afternoon's family show. And yeah, Armenia, just in case you're wondering, Armenia have just won this afternoon's family show. Last night was the UK, and yeah, it was fantastic. So let me know your thoughts, your comments, and who you would like to see win, who you want to win, who you think will win. Those two things are very different. If you haven't noticed yet, I have two videos up on the channel. The first one is who I want to win Eurovision 2023, and the second is who I think will win. And of course, we will know in how many hours from now? Well, we know in about at midnight tonight, won't we? Near enough, who is going to win. Who is going to win this trophy here? Who's going to follow the footsteps of Kalish Orchestra and grab that trophy, grab the moment, and take it home with them? Well, time will tell. Finland to win. Just want to say, just before we go any further, that if you are commenting on Facebook, it's great to have you here, and thanks so much for commenting. I won't be able to see your name until the broadcast has ended, so if you want your name included, write your name at the start or the end of your comment, and that would be great. So it has to be Finland. So there's two for Finland. Lisa, you said hello, and obviously I'd love to know also who you think is going to win. Hello to you, Drew. Welcome. Tell me your plans. What are your plans for tonight? Well, we have ordered a Chinese, which is going to come around 6:30, and there's a few gins in the fridge for me at least, and some snacks. It's just going to be great, isn't it? It's a sunny day here in Northern Ireland. It's a fantastic warm day, and what perfect weather it is to celebrate the Eurovision Song Contest. Just gonna put up a little second here if I can get it. Just bear with me. The draw order, of course, we will know the draw order, but I just want to put it up. Just bear with me a little second. Sorry, I thought I had it, but just bear with me. So has anybody been to Liverpool this week? Is anyone still in Liverpool as we speak? If you were in Liverpool, what was your experience? What did you go and see? Were you at the Euro Village? Did you get some merch? Guess who did? What was your experience like? Let me know and keep me company. So yes, the Eurovision final is in 3 hours. Are you ready? Yeah. So, Lisa, I was just asking who you thought could win. So you are saying, I think either Sweden or the Ukraine could possibly win. By the way, it's very cold and overcast here in Dublin. Really? I hope we can send some sunshine down a couple hours down the road, down the M1 to you. So let's hear this. This sounds good. Padraig, we sat in the sunny garden in Shropshire and having a wee party are all our UK flags to support May. Yeah, that sounds like you've been having a great afternoon. Very much so, Drew, and thanks for commenting. So as I say, I'm broadcasting live here on Eurovision 365 YouTube channel and of course Eurovision 365 debate. And you're very warm welcome wherever you're watching this from. Get involved, let me know your thoughts, your plans, and what your plan has been this week. Lisa, how are you celebrating tonight's Eurovision? So there's grey clouds at the moment and it's cold over in Dublin or down in Dublin. So how are you going to counter that? How are you going to counter that? You can see that Austria, of course, we all know this, of course, but Austria have and will be opening the final tonight. Having watched the jury final, I'm going to discuss that a little bit in detail. I'm not going to share everything that has happened at the jury final because I think we need some surprises. So if you don't want spoilers, it's probably best not to stick around too much for a little while anyway, because I am going to talk about the performances a little bit, not too much on the setting, etc., but just my thoughts, my general thoughts on the performances last night. So, and keep your comments coming, of course, as well. So do keep me company and let me know your thoughts on the performances. So last night, of course, Austria opened the grand final. I really feel for Taya and Selena. I think they have been given an unfortunate draw, it has to be said, and that would suggest, wouldn't it? That would suggest that perhaps Taya and Selena haven't done as well in the tally vote as we may have expected. The performance itself was okay. I didn't think it was mind blowing, which pains me to say that because I absolutely adore Taya and Selena. We had some magical moments in Amsterdam with those two, particularly whenever I was handing them the mini market champagne. But I think my worry for Austria is that it will soon be forgotten about, and that is obviously the worst thing about being drawn to open the show. If you think back the last few years and all the years where we have 26 countries taking part, the opening songs don't belong in being forgotten about, do they? I mean, obviously we had Engel Humperdinck performing at the 2012 contest. He opened, and I think it's fair to say that he didn't do so amazingly well. Now, last year, We Are Dummy, of course, opened the contest, and they did okay-ish, didn't they, when it came to the voting. So let me just go back a little second here. So let me have a little look at what you're saying to me, and keep your comments coming, keep me company as we grow ever closer to that 8 p.m. GMT. I keep looking at my watch. Today's one of those days, isn't it, where it's going past slowly, but it's going past quick at the same time. Does that make sense? Am I the only Eurovision fan that thinks that? Am I the only Eurovision fan that feels like the day is slow, but also fast? It's like, I don't really want it to end, but at the same time, it's like, at least the final will start. So it's one of those, isn't it? So, Lisa, you had said that you thought Sweden or Ukraine could win, but what you also have said, though, is you would like to see Norway or Finland win the trophy. My plans for this evening are a cozy night indoors in front of the TV. I'm sorry to hear you're recovering, and I hope that recovery continues speedily for you. I'd also like to see Croatia do well. Could Croatia 2023 be the Moldova 2022? By that I mean I can't imagine that Croatia will do amazingly well in the jury vote. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine that it would do well. But that song is obviously second last in the running order, and one has to suspect that did very well in the televote in the first semi-final. They've got an amazing draw, and I'll talk about that shortly, of course. But I wonder, will people vote for that en masse? I think they might. Tipperary calling. I wonder who this could be. Hey, Cian, glad to see you got back to Tipperary. It was also amazing to see you in person as well. As I did quite a few people, it was fantastic to see a lot of people in person. And that's what I also love about the contest, because there is that amazing thing about Eurovision, as I mentioned to others, is that the camaraderie. So you make new friends every year at the contest, and also you see familiar faces, and yeah, it's just fantastic. So Drew's friend would like Italy to do well. No, your name isn't coming up. It's okay. No name. That was a group, wasn't it? From Eurovision. But anyway, I'm stalling here. Let's go back to the running order. And this is just a warm up for the Eurovision itself. I will not be live during the final, but as soon as the final ends, I'll be back on live, and we can have a little reflection of the contest that's just been. And I will also have access. I will be watching the winners conference, and I am able to submit questions. So if anybody wants a question, submit it to the winning performer or performers. Could be a group, you never know. Let me know, and I will do my best to have our questions asked to the eventual winner. So next up was Mimikat, and Mimikat, of course, has got the death slot. That's number 2. And of course, we all know as Eurovision fans that no one has ever won from position 2. And now, of course, with the way that the draw is made, or how it's made by the producers, one can expect and suspect that Mimikat has done really poorly in the televote on Tuesday. Now, of course, the thing that's going in, yeah, that's you now, Cian. Great to see you here. That's you there now. The one thing I would say that's going for Mimikat is that tonight there is a jury, and there was a jury last night, of course, the jury final. Mimikat's performance was okay as well. I love Marisa Mimikat. I think she's amazing. We chatted just before she won the Portuguese national final, and I know how much it means to her to represent her country. I know how much it meant to her to qualify to the final. The performance last night wasn't brilliant. I would say it was okay, but maybe the jury saw something in it that I maybe didn't. What I would also say, going in Mimikat's favour, is, as I said, the jury, as I've already mentioned, they are likely to go for her. But the only issue is, I love the beginning of the song. It starts off slowly, and then it builds up to that clap along song that it is. But then there's such a lull moment, isn't there? There's like about a good 60 seconds or more of a bit of a lull where it calms down, and then we have the great vivacity towards the end of the song. But is that too late? I'm not sure. But of course, we Mimikat is in draw 2. What I would also say as well, is it would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Because of how many of the big bangers, the favourites that were in the first half, it would be interesting to see the producers do something risky and place one of those favourites in second position. I actually thought they might do that, but they haven't. And I think it would have been interesting for that to happen. Of course, back in 2003, it was random draw. And up until that point, no one in place 4, position 4, had ever won a contest. And of course, Sertab Erener, went on to win. So it can happen. I just think I just think it would be great to see the producers take a risk 1 year. But that being said, I do wish Mimi Cat the very best of luck, and we will see how she gets on. Yes, very nice to meet you too, Adam. Yeah, I never even thought about full gas. I know you were we were both kind of rushing off because you obviously didn't want to miss. You didn't want to miss. I didn't want you missing the chance to go to the rehearsals, and yeah. But yes, I'm sure there'll be more opportunities in the future to meet people and to chat in person. So now, as I said, this is all about looking at the jury final last night and obviously getting us all in the mood hopefully for the Eurovision Song Contest. What are your plans for this evening? What are you doing right now? Obviously if you're here, you're watching this, and thank you. You're so welcome here. It's great to have you here. But let me know your plans. Who are you sharing your Eurovision with? What are your snacks of choice? Have you brought in a variety of European and Australian snacks? What's an Australian? I wonder what would be an Australian snack. I'm not sure. But what are what are your plans? Let me know. It's great, isn't it? It's so great that we have this contest that we love so much. And you know, like I said, today is going slow but also going fast. If I keep doing this, if you keep seeing me doing this, because I'm looking at the clock. I actually have a clock here as well. To keep me sort of looking and obviously looking for the time. I also have a Chinese ordered, so I've got Chinese food coming around 6:30. I will be live up until around that time on the Eurovision final. We're going to watch, and then as soon as the Eurovision ends, I'll be back live. I hope some of you can come and join me then as well. And I'll be discussing, I suppose, the winner, the runners-up, the positions, the shocks, the surprises, the thrills, the spills, all of that jazz along with you. Of course, I will be going to, well, online, I'll be virtually at the winners conference. So if any of you have a question for the winner, let me know in these comments here whenever we do come back after the final, and I will do my best to have those questions asked for you. But anyway, back to the running order, and up in third, we see Switzerland. Watching this last night, I have to say that Remo started off a little tiny bit shakily for me, but it wasn't for very long, and he performed much to the style that we are accustomed to. He gave it all. Performance after that didn't waver at all. His vocal was then on point. But you know what? I would be so nervous if I was taking the stage to represent my country, especially as I know and would know, as they all did, that the jury were watching on. And I think that was something that might have been in the psyche and in the mindset of a lot of performers last night. It's an additional pressure, of course, but I think Remo did a fair job, that being said. Next we had Poland, Blanka. Blanka delivered a performance that she normally has given, so it wasn't much change. There was no change actually at all, and I stand by what I said a couple of weeks ago or a week ago. I'm glad to see Blanka in the final. I know, and by the way, can I just say, I understand and I empathise and I agree in terms of what people are saying about the vote rigging allegations that happened in Poland. We don't know for sure what happened. There are allegations, but at the same time, for Blanka, she has earned her place in the final. Watching the press conference for the qualifiers just after the second semi-final, Blanka said she'd like to thank her haters for helping her to get to the semi-final. But yeah, what I would say is song 4 is probably not going to produce a winner this time, but you know what, congratulations and fair play to Blanka for getting to the final. So Kane, you're just say a message there in terms of Remo. He's a great lad, he deserves to do well. Hope he ends up in the top 12. I would say, considering that there aren't too many ballads this year, or power ballads, he is likely to do very well, I would say. So, up next, if I can get on here. Oops. There's the running order. So up fifth was Serbia, of course. Nothing changed, of course, from the semi-final. It was very much the same. It looked good, sounded pretty decent as well. It's I just wonder, is it too outlandish to get through and do well in the final? There's always going to be shocks. I'm not sure if Serbia would provide the shock. Actually, do you know what's interesting? And I only thought this today actually when I saw the afternoon rehearsal of the family show for Serbia. He reminds me somewhat of Hatari for Israel in 2019. And they, of course, qualified for the contest. They, of course, got through to the final. But then when they got there, they didn't have an amazing result. So I think looked like as one of those performers that either is going to top of the board or come top five or be bottom five. It's one of those for me. I can't say it too middle of the road. It's one of those songs, isn't it? That's either going to make people run and grab their phone, or it's going to make people shy away from it. So Adam, let's see. Monica from Lithuania is such a lovely person to talk to. I managed to have my photo taken with her. I bet you that was a fantastic, fantastic experience for you to be able to chat with Monica. And that's been my impression of Monica as well. I haven't actually been speaking to Monica in person, but my experience of her is that she is really nice. And actually, the chat I had with Karya at Amsterdam at Eurovision in concert in Amsterdam, you can see her bopping along to his his little song piece. So she seems like a lot of fun. Now, here next we have France. France, of course, Lazara was very much tipped to do well, wasn't she? She's very much tipped to do well and possibly even win the trophy. But for me, last night's jury performance was a little lackluster. I've got to be honest with you. I hate saying that, I really do, but it was a little lackluster for me, um, which is a shame. She was pitchy in parts, and again, it's one of those that where I don't know whether it was so much on the mindset and in the psyche of the performers that a professional jury were watching that it maybe did put some people off. I'm not sure. It was okay, but again, so far, if you're watching this as I was last night at the jury final, I was still waiting for a song that was going to make me sit up and take notice. I've got to be honest with you, and this was song 6, so it wasn't quite out there. However, song 7, that was a different story. Cyprus, Andrew and Brew. He is actually doing a brilliant job. I think he's given a great performance. I think also listening last night, as I felt during the second semi-final, the backing recorded vocals seem to overpower him, or either that or they're too loud. And I noticed that really today as well with the family show. It was really loud, so it was at times difficult to hear him. But that being said, he is an amazing performer, and I actually said this in the INFE Australia fan group on Facebook. I actually said that I'm really happy and really delighted to see two different Australian acts performing at the Eurovision, and I think that's just great for the contest. You could never have imagined, obviously, this less than 10 years ago, even 2014, you could never have imagined that would be possible, and I think it's fantastic. So in terms of Sama Misa Spava, what Cian you're saying is as peculiar as Samo mi spava is, it isn't the same kind of peculiar as Constructa. Yeah, you either love it or hate it. That's exactly what I'm saying. Exactly what I'm saying. And I agree with what your second comment there. That there was a comedic aspect to Constructa's performance, which I don't think is the same for Luke Black. And there, I mean, there's a great part of the performance for Luke Black, going back obviously to Serbia briefly. There is a great comedic, there's a great piece in his performance where he's taken the lifelines out of his dancers and they all come to life. That's a really great part for me, and I do like that. Again, it's funny I mentioned Hattori earlier on, because that kind of focal effect that's used at that part for and by Luke Black, it's similar to Hattori's vocal effect as well. Yeah, I was going to give you a spoiler, but I just stopped myself. But you'll have to watch tonight. So who's next then? I nearly did give you a spoiler. But next one, next one is Spain, and I just put that. I just put that photo back up of Blanca again from Spain, and Blanca, as you'd expect, gave an amazing performance last night. Anytime I've seen Blanca, where it was at Benidorm Fest, where it was pre-parties, where it was on the turquoise carpet, and let me tell you, she sang that chorus over and over and over and over and over, and she never missed a beat. She never gave it 50%, and you can see now at this point that she is giving it that 100%. And her vocals were very strong. The camera work, as we now know, is very similar. The staging and camera work is very similar to what we have seen with Benidorm Fest, which I think is really cool. I think it's really cool that we have Blanca performing the way she does at Benidorm Fest. It's similar to Benidorm Fest as well. And like what you see at Benidorm Fest is pretty much replicated at the contest. But Blanca gave a solid performance, and I would imagine, that the juries really liked that performance last night. I certainly did. Now, moving on to Loreen. And it's interesting, I always found it quite interesting that the producers chose to place Sweden right after Spain. It's a bit like Italy and Spain last year, actually, where there was like two big songs, one after the other. Obviously, we had Italy and then Spain right after them in similar positions, actually. But ninth draw, people might think that ninth isn't the best draw in the field of 26, but Loreen will be confident and comfortable knowing that there was a winner from that position in 1998, won Dan International. Kian, I think, Kian, this is a sarcastic message. Yeah, Sweden in the final. Well, she is definitely in the final, and vocally last night again wasn't brilliant for me. I have to be honest with you. Performance was brilliant though. That's the thing. I thought the performance was really, really good. It's really tightened now. I think they have got used to the smaller set that they have to play with for Liverpool in comparison to what they had at Melodifestivalen. And I think maybe I've just thought there as well that whenever a performer is selected for Melodifestivalen, they probably have months to perfect their choreographs, the choreography rather, and their staging. So I imagine that with the resulting nature of having to reduce and limit the size of her performance box, her sandwich maker, some people are calling it, it took her a little bit longer to perfect that, the movements and the motion, but I think she has really nailed that. Performance, brilliant. Vocally, not great, but when did vocals matter? Could Loreen win the jury final? I'm not sure. But is it 7th win for Sweden? Is Sweden about to equal Ireland's record? And will it matter in Ireland if it did? Would that change the perception of Eurovision? Would that bolster Ireland? I'm not sure. So, Kane is saying, I don't understand why people were so bothered about the small box, considering the average Joe that's watching won't actually care even if they even know. Like, that was a point I actually made as well. I don't think, in fact, your average viewer isn't going to know what Melody Festival is, never mind what the performance was like. So I don't think it matters that much. The thing for me is, I suppose, as I said at the time, it did feel that Melody Festival had chosen their winner before the public had chosen the winner, and that's always been my little gripe there. But that being said, Lorraine is an absolute sweetheart. She is an amazing performer. She's amazing with the fans, and on the turquoise carpet she made time for lots of people. She was taking absolutely ages going through the press, going through the fans, and it would be, I would say, well done to Lorraine. I'm just not so sure, and I love Sweden, I'm learning the language, for example, but I still don't think it's as foregone a conclusion as it might be. But I am going to be proven wrong, aren't I? She's going to win, isn't she? Is anybody else going to win? I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on from Sweden, till Albania. Albania and family. I wonder, were they surprised that they qualified? I actually wasn't. And I'm really glad to see such an ethnic song at the final. They perhaps benefited from having such a great draw in the running order of the second semi-final. That perhaps was the case. I do have to say as well, I think Albania is a great vocalist. She's very, very good. I like the family idea, them all together in and with and at the contest together. I wonder that they all watched the contest last year together at home and thought, you know what? Ronaldo didn't make it to the final. We can. Let's do this. I wonder, was it decided upon that? But again, vocally, I thought was really good. My only concern for Albania would be the position that they've got straight after Sweden. Is probably the worst draw imaginable for this group, because the contrast is very noticeable, because obviously you have the elaborate staging with Lorraine versus Albania and family, with the LED screens that you can see there on the picture and the family. But I do think, I have a feeling that this is going to do pretty decent. I'm going to say in the teens for this. So Kane, hop Albania. My friend has to buy me a chicken roll in school now. They call poor friends. I love that. Yeah, tell them to get you two. You see if they actually go top 10 tonight, Kane, you could ask them maybe to get you two. So moving on then from Albania to Italy. Italy, I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I haven't been much of a fan of this song at all until the performance at the dress rehearsals, and the staging is awesome. The staging is making it for me, and I would say that he is going to do well in the jury vote. Last night at the jury show, Marco nailed the vocals. Very powerful, very emotive without being too emotive. I felt that was something that he maybe did at what do you call it? It's Italy, Sanremo. How did I forget that? Sanremo. I think that was too emotive, but I do think that he's toned that down somewhat, and he's looking absolutely amazing on stage, and the performance, as I say, was really, really good, and I would be very interested to see how well he has done in the jury vote. I could see it topping the vote, actually, maybe coming second or third, maybe. worst case scenario, but based on last night's performance, he is going to be challenging, I would say, at the top. Just in case you're wondering, last night's jury final was won by the UK, and this afternoon's afternoon family show was won by Armenia. And I'd love to know if there has ever been a time where a country has won the rehearsal shows, the mock voting, and then gone on to win the contest. I'm not sure. Maybe some of you out there know that, and if you do, let me know. It was a really interesting. Comment last night. It was quite fun actually. Graham Norton joins Hannah. Hannah and Graham do the voting together, and someone said about with the mock voting, it's rigged, and Graham Norton was like, well, of course it's rigged. It's mock voting. So that was quite fun. So yeah, we do have a Spanish fan here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Is it going to be Spain's year? We will know very, very soon. It is almost 20 to 6 GMT. We are 2 hours and 22 minutes away from the Eurovision final. And wow, I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. We've got to this point. I just had to take a moment there to breathe because, as I said at the start, it is one of those days which goes very slowly, passes by very slowly, but also passes by really quickly. It's like one of those you want to kind of grab it. It's a bit like Christmas. You want to keep it here. Like New Year's Eve, you want to keep it here. Your birthday, you want to keep it here. But yeah, it's great. We are close to the ta-dum starting. Let me see. Speaking of Italy, still, I got carried away there. Not a fan of Marco this year, and we weren't impressed on the Wednesday where we saw him. Well, really interesting. That's really interesting. I know, Kane, in 6 years it's going to be over. 6 years? 6 hours it's going to be over. Yeah. But you know what? We'll then have Junior Eurovision in November, and then it won't be long till we have another season. Which country are we going to love next year? Which countries will be the Austria next year? But anyway, let's go back to this year before it's over. So next in the running order, we have Estonia. A bit like Italy for me. I'll be honest with you. I quite liked Alika when I first saw her when she won Estilol. And that was only that was my first time seeing her perform. And it was her winning performance. And I remember really liking it. I thought, oh, this is really a really good song. But then, I think this is the problem all of us Eurovision fans have. The more we listen to songs, the more frustrated we can become, or the more biased we can become for or against the song. And I think that's what's so important about initial reactions. And that's the reason, of course, as well, apart from the reason I love doing them and they're a lot of fun, but that part of the reason why I make the reaction videos, because they are my genuine first time watching, and I think that is always indicative, I think, of what the final outcome will be and how it's going to do at the final. It's that sort of gut instinct, isn't it, where you're going to like something or not. And like I said, I did like Alika Building Bridges the first time I heard it, and I have grown in time to not like it so much, got a bit bored of it. But let me tell you, see at the second semi-final on Thursday, and we're very, very close to the stage, she absolutely nailed it. And I think Alika's going to do really well in the jury as well. She's a competent, perfect singer, and it's great to see her, and I think she will do very well. So let me see, I've got a comment here. Let me see. Jim Sullivan, welcome to this live, broadcasting live, of course, across YouTube, Eurovision 365 YouTube channel, and Eurovision 365 Facebook group page. Facebook group even. I'm getting carried away. I'm so excited. That's what's wrong. But yeah, you're all very welcome wherever you're from. Tell me your name, where you're calling from, what your thoughts are, who your favorites are, or in this case, any bets on tonight. I actually have a bet on 3 countries. Do you want me to tell you them? Do you have bets on? Has anybody else placed a bet? Not that I am saying betting is I'm not saying you should bet. I'm just saying I have placed a bet. But do you want to know the countries I placed a bet on? Do you? I'll let you think about that. And Jim, have you placed a bet? Before we go on to the next song, Kane, you are saying, I liked Estonia at the start, then I didn't like it at all, but after the live shows, it's gone back up for me. It's as if the performance has been made televote friendly, with more things to enjoy during the performance rather than just a person standing and singing a song. Very good. That's similar to what I have been saying and thinking, Kane, actually. Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I agree that she's doing a lot more moving about, which I think is really good, because just sitting by a piano doesn't cut the mustard anymore. It might have won in 1994 and 1966, but it doesn't happen now. Actually, I tell you, 2019 it won, didn't it? Duncan Lawrence won sitting by a piano, so who knows? Could be a surprise winner tonight. Jim, you have placed a bet. Australia top 5 2021. That seems like good odds. So I'll tell you, I'll tell you all. I placed a bet on 3 countries. Okay, so the first country was Spain, and the next country was Israel, and then the third one is Armenia. And they're individual bets, but they're each way bets, so within the top 4. And can I just say, if Armenia finishes in the top 4, I'll be very happy. That's all I'm going to say. I placed bets on more chicken rolls. I love that. Okay, moving on to the next country. Of course, that is Karja and Finland with Cha Cha Cha. It was an absolute pleasure, I have to say, absolute pleasure being able to chat with Karja at Eurovision concert in Amsterdam before he took to the stage. It was nice to interview him, and he's a really, really lovely guy, and he is going into this final in a good draw. He's 13th, of course, he's drawn 13. He hasn't really changed the performance. Well, he hasn't changed the performance since semi-final 1. I think what he seems to be doing, or is doing, is he's being a bit more careful as he runs around those pallets, because of course at the dress rehearsal, the eve of the first semi-final, we're watching, he tripped over the pallet at the front, so he saved himself and he was fine. But I just think it's like a health and safety risk. That staging looks like a health and safety risk. But that being said, he has loads of energy. He puts all his energy in. Last night he did the same, but typically for Karja, when it came to the last minute, he did seem a little bit breathy. He did seem a bit tired, and that's to be expected because he was jumping around and running around for at least 2 minutes of that song and has a lot to think about. But I'm just conscious that the jury were watching that last night. I just wonder if I was in the jury, what I would give that out of 10. I'm not sure I would give that 10 out of 10. I'm not sure, based on last night's jury final. But what I would give 10 out of 10 for is Karja's commitment to performing and his commitment to the whole contest. And he has totally, I mean totally, put himself into the spirit of the contest. He's embraced it all fully, hasn't he? He's fun. He hasn't. I don't even know if Karja sleeps. I don't know if he even does that, but he must do, mustn't he? But he just has so much energy. He's on the go all the time. He was doing concerts constantly from he was selected at UMK, and he hasn't relented. I think that I think he'll do well until I vote. I can't see him winning it based on last night's jury performance, but then you have the televotes, so that's to be considered. I'm judging on him getting the 13th position, which is of course a winning position as well for all countries. One must assume that he is topped or near enough top the televote on Tuesday. Adam Green, what are your thoughts on about the unexpected return of Luxembourg next year after 30 years absent. I think it's absolutely amazing. Actually, I had made a video ages ago about Luxembourg, and there will be a new video to look forward to on the channel, so keep your eyes and ears out for that. That will be coming very, very soon here on the channel around Luxembourg, so do keep an eye and the ear out for that. Personally, I'm delighted that they're back. I would say probably the EBU are delighted that Luxembourg are back, because they're running out of countries, so it's great to see that they are making a return, and I imagine that they will be welcomed back with huge open arms from the fan community and hopefully the voting community to boot, should they have a good song, of course. Sorry, 2 seconds. So, Jim, what do you think of Switzerland 3? Well, voice, absolutely agree. Remo is an amazing performer. I was saying that before. I think you might have joined just after I was talking about Switzerland, Jim. But incredible voice, incredible vocal. Like I said, you maybe weren't here when I was saying this, but at the very start of his performance last night at the jury final, I felt he wavered a tiny bit at the beginning. Not very much, just a tiny bit at the beginning. It felt more nervy than anything else. I'd be a bit nervous as well, I've got to be honest with you. But he recovered that very quickly. And yeah, I expect him to do very well with the jury vote, actually, as it happens. So let's talk about Finland. So I reckon Finland will win. It's a more entertaining performance than Sweden, I agree. Everything changes between the chorus and verses, where it be the lights, amount of people on camera, etc. I agree. And also, so Drew, you're thinking as well, you're agreeing with Kane. You think Finland will win, but it will be close. Won't be long to be found out, will it? It's now 2 hours and 11 minutes. Woo! Hello to you from Armenia. You're so welcome here. It's great to have you here. Can I just say something? If you check out my videos on Armenia, which are around Brunette, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I interviewed Brunette at the Eurovision concert in Amsterdam just before she went on stage, and yeah, I love Brunette and that song. I'll be talking about her very soon. Let me know your thoughts as well, wherever you're watching this from, where it be Armenia or Ireland or UK or Spain or Portugal or Finland or wherever you are very welcome here, just as a warm up to the Eurovision. It is 1 hour and 10 minutes, sorry, 1 hour, 2 hours and 10 minutes to the beginning of the Eurovision final 2023. Can't wait. So yes, Jim, what you were saying as well shows a ballad with a good voice can do well. Lesson for Ireland, absolutely. I imagine if Ireland come back next year, and I have no reason to suspect that they won't at this point. I would imagine that Ireland will come back with a ballad. I think they should, because I think countries always do well when they write a song that sits comfortably with their culture, rather than writing a song that Europe will like or the fans will like. People can see through that. It's very transparent. So when a country is true to its roots, I think it does well, and rightfully so. Your favourite Eurovision 2023? Well, I'm not going to say, and I'll tell you the reason. The reason I'm not going to say is because I have a video up about a few hours ago which shares until I actually reveal the song that I want to win. So I'm not going to say that in this live. So you have to watch that. I'll tell you after, when we come back after the final. But I can't say it, but everyone else, you are free to say your favourite to win Eurovision 2023. A lot of people are saying Finland so far. Onik. Is anyone watching from Liverpool? I'd love to know where you're watching this from and who you're Dustin and Twig Duet. The things could go from bad to worse. What are you trying to do to Ireland, Jim? Did Netta predict a winner yet? Oh, I don't know. Has she? Does she predict winners? Does she? Onik wants to know your top 5. People, you can share your top 5s. I'm not going to share it just now, just because of the video from before. But please let me know. There's a link to it there now if you want to have a quick look. Yeah, got it for Ireland, but what was he dressed as? What was he dressed as? We might never know. Anyway, let's go back, shall we? This is fun. I'm loving this. Are you loving this? I'm really loving this. Wherever you're watching this from, you're very welcome here to the live Eurovision 365 broadcasting live on YouTube channel and across on the Facebook group Eurovision 365 Debate. And yeah, we are a couple of hours away, just over a couple of hours away from Eurovision Grand Final 2023. And what a week it's been. Eurovision 365 was in Liverpool, where they're from Sunday until yesterday morning. Got semi-final tickets, which was absolutely fantastic. Inside the arena for the live shows is just amazing. So grateful and so thankful. And then, in addition to that, we were at the Euro Club, and that was it really enhances the experience as well. I'll have to say now at this point as well. Can I just say the people in Liverpool were so hospitable. They were so welcoming. There's a lot of joy in Liverpool. There's a lot of fun, and I'm judging by the photographs and videos that I'm seeing on socials throughout today. The place is just buzzing. I'm sure people can feel the buzz in the air as well. And today is certainly a brighter day as well. It's sun shining and it's warm and it's bright and it's breezy and people are there. They're having their drink of choice. They're making new friends. They're meeting old friends. Don't you just love Eurovision? I certainly do. Anyway, now on to Checha. This is one of those songs that I'm going to be honest, because I can be honest about this. I'm not going to be disrespectful, but I am not a huge fan of My Sister's Crown. I never have been. I'm going to be honest with you. That being said, it was my number one for a little while because I was I had set certain criteria that I was basing my ranking on, but I'm not loving it. That being said, there is a lot of lovely moments in the performance, particularly where they grab each other's arms towards the end of the performance and do like ring a ring a rosies towards the end of the performance. Looks well. Vocally, wasn't great for me. I wouldn't be surprised if Checha don't do so well in the jury, but I could be wrong. Speaking of Liverpool again, the BBC and Liverpool have created the best Eurovision ever. Do you know what? I thought Stockholm 2016 couldn't be beaten, and it has, in my opinion, it has, and for so many reasons. Presenters Hannah, Julia and Alicia are fantastic. They actually work really well together. You can tell actually as the week has gone on, and the more I've watched them during the rehearsals, how much of a tight unit those three are. Graham Norton, of course, joins them at the beginning of the show, a bit like Sir Terry Wogan, the late great Sir Terry Wogan did at the beginning of the contest. He then joins them for the intervals, and then he remains on stage then for the voting. And of course, Mel Goodrich will be commentating on behalf of the UK and BBC during the voting. I think Graham will be commentating throughout the songs. Okay, so we're still talking about Liverpool, which I think is great. I love this. Yeah, it was such a warm atmosphere in the city. I got the same feeling Liverpool during ESC when listening to Imagine. Oh, that's lovely. It really put United by Music into context. It truly did. And the thing I would say about Liverpool as well is that they have really, really savoured the moment. They're savouring the moment, aren't they? They're really. It's like that old football slogan, football's coming home. Eurovision came home for Liverpool, and they have welcomed it back. Like a prodigal son, they've welcomed it back with open, warm arms. So, your love song. Yeah, my favourite song from 1956 to 2023. Oh my God, that's a lot of songs. My favourite song of all time, though, at this point, that could change after tonight. My favourite song of all time is a song from Turkey in 1987, Dinla. But there's a lot of songs out there that I absolutely love as well. If Finland does win tonight, it would be the first time since 1986 that a country has won from the 13th slot in the running order. Oh. What position was Duncan Lawrence? Where was he at? Let's check this. Sorry, it's just because in my head I thought he was 13th. I could be wrong. Oh, Duncan Lawrence was 12. Very good. Very, very good. Greece was 13th that year. Interesting. I'm just looking here as well at Eurovision 2019. Song 24 was Switzerland. That did well as well, didn't it? Eurovision 2022 running order very quickly, just to see comparatively what will happen. So, song 9, just out of interest, song 9 last year was Brevity, and song 13 was Germany, Molly Cars. That's interesting. Let me see, 17 was Amanda, Day Together. 20, there's only 25 countries last year, of course, but song 22 was Sam Raider. 23 was Poland, and Serbia was 24, second and last. The winner, of course, was in 12. Yeah, so 12 is a really lucky position, isn't it? Very much so. So yes, that was Sandra and Kim. Welcome, 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 Cyprus, or you're loving Cyprus. So, wherever you're watching this from, you are very welcome. You are very welcome. Yeah, I'm going to do a countdown when it gets to it very shortly, because we will be at 2 hours away from Eurovision Grand Final. 10, 9, 8, 7, what am I doing? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eurovision Final is in 2 hours time. Woo! Where you're watching this from, where you're watching the Eurovision from, let me know. Great to see you from Cyprus, Christiana. It's very great to have you here. You're very, very welcome. Andrew Lambrou is going to do you very proud tonight, I'm sure. I'm confident. I also was really upset. I know it's a different country, but I was really upset for Victor. I really want him to go through on Thursday. Not to be this time, but he is an amazing performer, an amazing artist, and he is going to shine bright. I know he is. Yeah, whip, whip, whip indeed, Cian. It's, well, less than 2 hours now. It's 1 hour and 59 minutes if we're going to be precise. So, yeah, we're pretty excited here, aren't we? So, up next then, in the running order, we had Australia. Brilliant to see Australia there. I'm so glad that they got to the final. Of course, there are discussion with where they would be back next year or not. I certainly hope they are. I think maybe it all rests on the result for Australia this year, because if you remember back in 2015, anyone who's old enough to remember 2015, I am, will remember that for that year Australia were invited just for one contest, and I think it was kind of rested on the result that Guy Sebastian did. I think, I could be wrong, but I think it was very much resting on his result where they would be invited back again. Of course, he did really, really well, but I think that I would hope that that would be the case this year, that Australia does a good I would hope that Australia would be back next year, because they're great. They love the contest. I was speaking to Aussie Vision a couple of nights ago at the Euro Club. Great guys there. They do a great job, and it would be amazing, I think, for Australia to continue, because, as I said, the Australians love it, don't they? They love it, they get it, they embrace it, they love the culture context of it, they love the likes of ABBA, for example, who came from the Eurovision, of course. I don't think you are the only one that has them as a dark horse this year. I think they'll do really well. I think their draw is favourable for them. 15. Who's your winner? Only wants to know, who is your winner? Some people are saying Finland, by the way. But whether you've just joined me or not, it's great to have you here. Eurovision 365 broadcasting live on Eurovision 365 YouTube channel and the Eurovision 365 Facebook group. That will not be easy to say later on whenever I've had a couple of gins in me, just pre-warning you. But we're getting ready for the final. So I'm here for the next little bit, and after the contest, I'll be back live again immediately after the Eurovision final, and I will be at the winners conference, online conference, and if anybody has any questions they'd like to submit it to the winner, you will be able to write them in the comments here, and I will do my best to have those questions sent on. So, who's next? Up next after Australia is Belgium. So unfortunately, Belgium have been given a draw where no country has ever won before. It's a bit like the number 2 draw. Thanks very much, Christiana. It's very kind of you to say so. But no one has ever won from 16. Of course, the curse can be broken. Obviously, we had Sertab Erener, who won for Turkey back in 2003, who she performed in 4th. And whilst I suspected that Gustav would be loved in the arena, which he was very much so, and on Thursday evening at the live semi-final, I'm not sure the jury will love it just as much. I think he'll do well in the televote. Vocally, it was really good actually last night vocally as well. But I just don't know if it's the kind of song that's going to grab the jury members as being original or overly original. But I would say hats off. Hats off to Gustav. He is doing really well, and one can't suggest he has anything other than an amazing vocal, which he does. I just think he's going to suffer being in that draw. Now, we move on to Brunette. And Brunette, of course, actually have money. I placed a bet on Armenia to be in the top 4 this year, and I loved the song from the moment it was revealed, and I love it even more now that I have seen the performance that Brunette gives and makes at the contest. It is absolutely sensational. Simplistic, unlike Rosalie last year, where it was quite elaborate, it was huge, it took them ages to put that set together. But the difference is there's a simplicity to Future Lover, but it works so well on camera, and Brunette delivers spot on vocal and great work with the camera as well. Very, 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 very good. Okay, it was really a splendid performance that Brunette gave last night as well. I can imagine Brunette will score very highly with the jury, the professional jury. Vocally, it's great. Originality, I beg your pardon, it's very original too. So, here we left with. Now we're moving on to Moldova. Moldova, I think, suffers coming after Brunette and even Belgium to an extent. I found the performance not brilliant last night, I have to say, I'll be honest with you. Vocally, it wasn't great, which is really upsetting and really sad for Pasha Parfany. I didn't feel that his vocal was overly amazing last night, and of course the jury were voting on that. And I think also, as I have been saying, the contestants are obviously aware that the jury are watching, so there is a chance that that can get in the heads, in the psyche of the performer. Whether that has done for Pasha or not, I'm not sure, but I wasn't blown away by his performance, I've got to say. I found it kind of middle of the road at best, but then it's a kind of song that maybe the televoters are going to like, so that's the thing. If a song getting marked down by the jury doesn't necessarily mean that it won't do well overall when the public have their say. So I suppose it was he has that going for him. How much money was your shirt? Well, I got it at the merchandise store at Eurovision. It was £28. That's British sterling, so I don't know what that would be in your currency, but it should be on the Eurovision TV website. It should be on the official Eurovision website. Actually, that reminds me, I've got to get mugs. The branded mugs. I've got to get them actually. Anyway, so let's go back to your comments here. So Adam, you are surprised that Georgia didn't make it to the finals on Thursday, as I thought Iru gave a great live performance. Personally speaking, the first time I heard it, I really liked it, but it didn't take very long for that opinion to change. It just felt like noise, or sounded like noise for me. I'm really sorry to say that. I like Iru as a person. It's amazing talent to be able to write a song, and not only just write a song, but to get a song to Eurovision. That's such an amazing talent, obviously, but the performance for me was just noise, very loud noise, and we were right beside the stage on Thursday night. I wasn't shocked, put it that way, that they didn't qualify, but I know a lot of people did like it. So I think Armenia, so talking about Armenia, I think Armenia is only fine. There's nothing bad, but there's nothing amazing either. Hope she does well though, and that would be my fear actually, Kane, what you've just said there. That would be my fear for Armenia. I do feel at this point that she has done enough to score very well in the jury final. Will it be enough for people to pick up their phones and say, or their apps or whatever, and place 20 votes on it? I'm not so sure. I would hope so, but I'm not so sure. But I think Brunette could be on the verge of giving Armenia its best result to date. Let's come back later and see who's right. Will it be me or someone else? I'm not sure. But speaking of later, it is now 1 hour and 50 minutes. 1 hour 50 minutes to the Eurovision Grand Final. And thanks so much for keeping me company for the next little bit. I'm waiting on some food to arrive, some Chinese food to arrive, so looking forward to that actually. I'm pretty hungry, but that will be fun. So I'm here till then, and then obviously, as I said at the beginning, for those who weren't here, I'll be back here live immediately after the Grand Final ends, and I'll be live. I'll be at the online winners press conference, and if anyone has a question they'd like asked to the winner performer, let me know, and I will do my best to have that question sent to them and asked to them. I don't like Georgia. I initially thought it was in Georgian, then I realised it was in English. That was kind of like me. The song is awful. It's probably because Ira is a good singer. Yeah, you and I are pretty much in agreement there, Cian. Didn't love it. It's just noise for me, sadly. But she is very, very talented. So let me see. So where are we at next? Oh, Cian, you're still there. Your comment's still there. Up next after Georgia, sorry, not Georgia, I was in Armenia and Moldova, is Ukraine. Ukraine have amazing staging, fantastic staging, but last night I felt the lead singers main vocal. It sounded like he was a little bit hoarse last night. I've got to be honest with you. It sounded like he was a little unwell actually. His throat was sore. But like mine actually right now. I've been talking and singing and shouting so much. It sounded like he was struggling vocally last night, which is a shame because of course yet again the jury are watching this. But it is a good song, and I expect Ukraine to be in the top 5 at least, maybe top 3. It's going to do well because the staging is powerful. It's very, very strong, the staging. So we shall see. Yeah, I think like you as well. It was probably written in Georgian. Yeah, I think so. Where are we at? So, who's next? So, we are on to Norway. Alessandra, I felt at last night's jury final wasn't as strong vocally as she has been. I don't think she was as strong vocally as she was at the first semi-final. But nonetheless, she did give a decent performance and the audience did seem to like it. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it, Kane? Everyone gets hoarse from all the singing during the week, although I was singing. Well, it was shouting or singing very loudly, whatever it was. As long as you're having a good time, sure, what else? It's all good. Yeah, so Norway, it was okay for me. Again, I'm not sure how well that would have done in the jury vote. It was doing very well at today's afternoon jury mock voting, but whether that is going to be the same tonight, well, we'll not know till then. Speaking of which, hello you, welcome here, welcome to Armenian here. You're very welcome to the channel. We shall see. Won't be very long to be found. It is actually 1 hour and 45 minutes, just about 1 hour 45 minutes until we have the Eurovision final. How exciting is that? Eh? How exciting do we see on the Eurovision final? Who's gonna win? Well, someone says Armenia's gonna win. Brunette's potential winner, future winner at 2023. We don't have long to wait. That's the thing, isn't it? It's so exciting, isn't it? I mean, for me, watching this, it's exciting watching it, you know. But I know, like, if your country isn't in the final, it can be really upsetting. There's an excitement, but it may not be the same buzz that you may have if your country is in the final. But regardless where your country is in the final or not, I hope you have the best time watching it tonight. So we move on then to Germany. Lord of the Lost gave very familiar performance now. Very good, strong vocal, very, very different. Obviously, I'm not sure the jury is going to love it so much. I think the public will. How much, I'm not sure. I'm really hoping. Some people are suggesting that Germany will place last this year, which I think is really unfair, but I'm hoping that they will be up the board a good bit this year. I don't think it's going to be on the left hand side of the scoreboard. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I do hope it's up towards the top right of the right hand side of the scoreboard, because Germany have been through a rough ride lately at the contest, so they are due a good result, I think. Then we have Lithuania. Monica gave the same performance as she's been given throughout. Monica is a lovely, lovely person. I think she's a great performer, very strong vocal. However, I can't see either, I'll be honest with you, I can't see either the jury or public voting that much for it. It obviously made the final, so you know the televote got her there, but no, there's a bigger playing field as well, because obviously there was, like, she was competing against 15 other nations, or 16 of course in that second semi-final. There's 10 additional countries I'm not sure how well she will do. I'm going to predict bottom right hand side of the scoreboard. I'm really sorry. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. But yeah, moving on to bottom right of the scoreboard, to a nation that may well be at the very, very top left of the scoreboard by the end of this evening's proceedings, and that is Israel and Noah, of course. Unicorn. There were some issues for Noah last night at the jury final. It involved the dancers. But just before the dance break, her the trousers that she's wearing, they get removed, so she has different bottoms on that she wears for the dance break. But one of the dancers couldn't quite get the trousers off Noah in time for her dance break. So it was a millisecond, it wasn't much, but you could see the dancer running off then just before the camera got to Noah. It's a millisecond, but it was noticeable. But I'm not sure that that's going to matter much. I think performance-wise it was great, vocally it was great, the crowd loved it, and yeah, I would say Israel's going to be top 3 this year. I would be very surprised if they're not, gotta be honest with you, but I would imagine great things for Israel this year. Adam, if Loreen from Sweden does win, it would be the first time since Celine Dion and Idiot that someone wins from the 9th position. Yeah, that is it. That is it. Yeah, so let me see. You are so good at these remembering running orders, Adam. Let's see. Yeah, you're brilliant at running orders, because Israel, of course, were 8th in 1998. I was saying they were 9th in the running order. Wow. Take us out of the context. The dancer couldn't take off Noah's. Oh, don't take out of the context. No, do not take out of the context. You couldn't get their bottoms changed in time. Anyway, moving very swiftly on. Top 5: Armenia, Sweden, Israel, France, Norway, Finland. Yeah, I'd be happy enough for that. Top 5, I gotta be honest with you, in that order. Moving on very swiftly then, from Israel, off to Slovenia. Slovenia and Joker Out have been nothing but consistent throughout. Since the pre-parties, they have given it all. They're so united, they're so knitted as a group. They are shining, they are bright, they are fun, they are best friends. You can tell that really shows. They love being there, they want to be there. There's no moaning from them, they just get up, they do it, they have fun. They really enliven the audience, they entice the audience to join in, they encourage the audience to join in, and the audience does join in, and I imagine that they will have done very well in the jury vote last night because their vocal was fantastic, and I'd be very surprised if they don't do top 10 this year. I think I could see Slovenia reaching top 10 this year. I would be happy with that. Cian, you're saying in terms of Israel that the staging is phenomenal for Israel. Yeah, I did see what you did there, but I'm not a huge fan of the song. Yeah, but the staging is brilliant. I have to agree. Then we had Croatia, and I have a sneaky feeling, judging by where Croatia are drawn at the final or in the final, I have a sneaky feeling that Croatia is going to do really well at the contest night. And I have a feeling that they must have done really well at the semi-final, the first semi-final, in the voting. Given their draw and given their place and given their position, I would imagine that they have done well, and I think they will. It's a very outlandish song. It's not for everybody. People are either gonna laugh at it or love it. My first experience of it, I didn't get it the first time I watched it. I've grown to like it. The first time I watched it, I was like, "What is this?" I understand now the context of the song. I know what it's about, and that's the thing. It's actually a very serious song, but sort of performed in a bright, colourful, funny way, and it's like that doesn't match visually with what they are singing. And And maybe the people at home who are going to see this for the first time mostly will have the same experience as I did the first time I watched it, but time will tell. But I do think Croatia will do well. I'm really glad that Croatia are back in the final. This, of course, is the 30th anniversary for Croatia at the contest. They joined in 1983, actually as well, the same for Slovenia. And it's great that those two nations are at the final some 30 years on from their debut. Now, last but not least, it's the United Kingdom. It's Mae Muller from UK, and Mae, of course, has been having a lot of issues, a lot of problems with her vocals. I think she was on vocal rest for a while too. She may have been unwell, but I'm happy to report that last night Mae gave a great performance. Well, it matters. It was jury final. Vocally, she was on point. She has done really well to regain that and recover that. So I wonder how she'll do in the jury votes. I can't see her topping the jury vote. I can't see her. I'd be very surprised if she was at the bottom of the jury vote as well. But I'm going to say middle of the table for her right now. I think. I could be wrong. But she did well in the end. So that is my review from last night's jury final, and it was very good. But who is going to lift this trophy? Who's going to lift it? Who's going to be following in the footsteps of Kalush Orchestra? Call it now, people. I'm not going to say it because I have a video. I encourage you to watch it. It's on the channel here. There's two videos I put out earlier on today. The first one was the song I Want to Win Eurovision 2023, and then there's another video, the song I think will win. Do those two match? Do those two correlate? Well, you're going to have to watch them to find out, but I encourage you to check those out and tell me what you think, of course. But before we finish for now, for this moment, as we get ready for this evening's final, which is only, what is it, 1 hour and almost 1 hour and 35 minutes away to the grand final. Who is going to win it? Can't me say it, but I think Croatia could do very well. Yeah, they got a huge cheer in the venue during semi-final one. They really did. And considering the semis were purely televote, it could come top 10. I agree completely. That's what I've been saying. And I think, as I've just said as well, given the draw that Croatia has, one can assume, rightly or wrongly, one can assume that they have done really well in the televote. I'm not sure if they won the televote. Australia, I felt, got the best reaction on Tuesday night, followed by, I would say, Finland, and then Croatia. But no, I reckon it'll be close between first and second, but a huge gap between second and third. So who are you calling, Kane? Who are you saying is going to be first and second? What's your predictions, people? But I am really excited for tonight. I am very, very happy that we're at the Eurovision final. Time flies, doesn't it? If you think about it, we have been on this journey with these artists from before the end of last year. Actually, it was August last year, wasn't it? August last year when Noah Kirel was announced as performer for Israel. And then we had our first song in December before Christmas. We had our first song for Ukraine. And then, of course, we had Albania. And then there was Super Saturday, which I know some of you were there with me during that full live, which, my goodness, that was a mammoth, wasn't it? That was a mammoth, a marathon that evening. But yeah, and now we've got to semi-finals, and we've got now to the grand final of the 2023 Eurovision. And actually, Graham Norton is he's fun at the voting. I didn't think he would be, but he's really fun. And there are some nice surprises. I'm not going to tell you anything else about the show because I want you to see that for yourselves. All I would say is it's emotional, but it's lovely at the same time, and it's fun as well. Hannah, Julia, and Alicia have done the BBC and the UK proud, UK and Ukraine proud actually, with the whole week throughout. And judging by the dress rehearsals, that's just going to continue. And for me, so far, haven't seen the film yet, obviously. Now have you? But it's the best Eurovision for me ever. Sweden, Finland, definitely in the top two. Then maybe France or Austria in third. Okay, interesting. So it's going to be a fight between Sweden and Finland, according to Kane. I think the top 3 to 5 are likely to be Israel, Finland, Sweden, Armenia, and who else? That'll be a top 4 maybe. But Blanca Ploma, nobody's really talking about her right now, and that could just be on the radar. Like I said, she was amazing at the jury final last night. She was very, very good. And because of her running order, it felt like she was the first real powerful impact for me. When I was watching it, that was the most impactful performance up to that point. So that might happen again tonight for the televoters. But we do not have long to wait, and I know you'll all be looking forward to it. And wherever you're watching this from, or where you're watching the Eurovision from, it's going to be phenomenal. And I hope you have plenty of snacks in, plenty of drinks of your choice. You want Albania top 10 because I'll get a Noah chicken roll. That's right, you're going to get Noah. There's going to be chicken rolls coming out of your ears. So there is. But yeah. So 30 seconds left. Oh my goodness, I'm going to do a countdown shortly again. It's almost 1 hour and 30 minutes. 1 hour and 30 minutes to go. My goodness me. So people, let's count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is now 1 hour and 30 minutes to the Eurovision 2023 Grand Final. Woo! Wherever you're watching this, wherever you're watching it from, I hope you have the best time ever. As I say, I will be back after the Grand Final ends, immediately after it ends, live. I hope you can join me then. If you're still up, if you're still awake, if you're still about, join me then for more chats. We'll have a debriefing, we'll reflect, we'll talk about it, and I will be back then. And as I said, I will be at the winners conference, able to ask questions on your behalf. So join me then. What was your favourite moment from Liverpool, inside and outside of the venue? Favourite moment inside was just meeting lots of new people. I'm making like new friends and just enjoying the moments, I suppose. Outside the venue was Eurovillage and just the atmosphere and how hospitable the Liverpoolians were as well. But anyway, my friends, have the best time. Enjoy Eurovision 2023, and I'll see you at the other side. So do come back. But until then, you take care, and I'll see you all very, very, very soon. Enjoy!